My mother, she was very sick and ill. She had like diabetes and kidney failure and stuff. So she passed away when I was like 13 years old. So that was like 98.
Man, that was
So,
tough.
and it was just not even a few months after that, when 2022 rolled around, and I remember having a drink in the kitchen, and I just broke down and I just threw it in the sink, and I'm like, man, I can't do this no more.
Do you remember, or can you share how we come to know each other?
And I text you, and then you called me. I was actually at work working,
Okay.
and while I was working, we had that conversation. It was about like almost close to an hour, and it was.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. Or if you're watching on the Blue Collar Leadership YouTube, watching as part of the Real People Getting Real Results, thanks for watching that. And so this will be coming to you today as video if you go to YouTube, or as audio if you're listening on the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. And I'm excited today get to introduce you to a friend of mine, Jamel Wofford. So welcome to the show, Jamel.
Well, thank you for having me, Mac. I appreciate it. And I'm very excited for today.
Yeah, man. And if things get dry, I'm gonna let you just get up and go get on that piano back there and tear it up.
Yeah. You like Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles or somebody.
Yeah. Yep. So it's cool to have you on. I know Jamel, that's a unique name. A lot of people call you Jamal. I've heard them do it and seen other people do it. And I know somebody named Jamal. So hopefully I'm not gonna do it because I know your actual name. The thing about you, Jamel, is people either call you Jamel or Jamal. Me, they call me Mac, Mike, Mark, Max, Matt. I got like a bunch of them. Hardly ever does anybody call me Mac.
Yeah, Mike.
Yep, all of those.
Yep.
It's because Rhea says I don't enunciate well, so I don't pronounce my name clear. That's that country talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
English is my second language. Country my first language.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I always ask people when we get going, because I like people to know that the people I feature on Real People Getting Real Results show is people I actually know some kind of way. It's not just random people. I get so many requests from people who want to be on my podcast. Most of the time I just delete them and never even reply because I don't know those folks. So do you remember, or can you share how we come to know each other?
Yeah, we came to know each other at the end of March of this year, 2025. It was probably because I was like getting into like leadership things with like John Maxwell, and somehow was doing posts on LinkedIn, and somehow we came across each other. And I believe, like you said, text my number and talk to me, and actually that was a great thing, because like usually when somebody's like, here's my number, they won't text, they won't call you, or they won't text you, and I text you, and then you called me. I was actually at work working.
Okay.
And while I was working, we had that conversation. It was about like almost close to an hour, and it was like, man, like I was shocked. I was like, this guy really, he says what he's about, and he goes with what he does, and that's how we started the relationship. Was like at the end of March. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're one of those folks who heard me somewhere, saw my number, and like it's on the screen now. If you're listening on audio, it's 334-728-4143. I always invite folks to, reach out, just call me. I'll usually reply within 24 hours. And sometimes it's immediately if I'm available, or text me, see if I'm available. And if you text me, I can send you a link. Somebody can set up an appointment on my calendar now and make sure I'm available. But people can just try me. So I had forgotten that's how we got started. But a lot of people I speak to, that's how it got started, was somebody had the courage to actually call me and just see what I had to say about whatever they were interested in. So I was thinking it was the 5 types of leaders course. I thought you had went to it first.
Yes, it was that. It was around that time. Like I don't know if it was the number texting you was before or after that, but I did do the 5 types of leaders course. Okay. And then I believe that's when I called you and text you, and then that's how it came to be. So thank you for reminding me of that, because it was that course. and I
Oh yeah.
took
So I give my number out in that course, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
That's a free course. So you somehow you found out about that, took that course, that free course, signed up, and then you call me out
yeah,
of that.
yes, sir.
What do you think about that course? For anybody who's out there listening, it's a free course, and I didn't spam you. Me and Rhea don't spam you because you put your
Yeah.
information in there. You just had to fill that information out. But had you taken a course like that before? That's a 2-hour video course.
No, I really haven't taken any like leadership courses before that, and that was just something that I was just at the time, with with my career and everything, I was just like, I need to invest in myself because obviously my company was investing in me. So, but you don't, I mean, obviously a person shouldn't rely on their company to do it. You do it yourself. But I was like, yeah, I need to get into this, and then I did, and it just really showed me a different view of what leadership is and the different levels, and where obviously you want to be at the fifth level, you want to be at the top one,
Yep.
but you don't want to be at the bottom one because that's just managers. They just manage processes and trying to manage people, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
You want as you said in the book, and many of your books, you want to follow somebody because you want to, not because you have to.
Look at you go, Jamel. You tearing it up, man. You've been soaking up some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You might be writing books and be on stage one day talking about leadership the way you learning this stuff.
yeah. But yeah, definitely that was a great course, and I would recommend it to anybody. Especially if it's just something that you starting out on your journey, is just something to give you a good view of what kind of leader that you are, because we're all leaders. Everybody's a leader of somebody. So
Yeah, man. And you find out what kind you are, what kind you report to, what kind you
right.
work with that maybe you don't report to, but you got to interact with them. You start to kind of, probably when you go through that, you start to kind of figure out who
Yeah,
everybody you're working with is, on where they're at, on which type of leader they are, right?
yeah, exactly. You start getting pictures in your head. Yeah,
Yep. You say, oh, that's so and so, or this is so and
yeah,
so, or oh, I'm like that, or I'm doing that sometime, but I don't do it all the time. Maybe I need to start trying to do it all the time because you
right.
understand. Yeah, and I'm gonna say real quick for the audio listeners on the podcast, to access that course, you just go to the5typesofleaders.com, and 5 is the number. So the5typesofleaders.com. You can take that same course. And you got the certificate? Did you actually download your
Yes,
certificate?
I did. Yes, I did, and I believe I have it on my LinkedIn. Yes,
Yeah, man. So that's
and
value right there.
yeah, and I also gave it to my utility administrator as well, and he said he was gonna put it in my file, and
There you go.
yeah, I did that. So
Outstanding. I think we mentioned that on the course. I think we tell you guys to do that on the course.
yes, you do. Yep, yep,
Yeah, that's a plus. Anybody who's going through a course on their own, investing in themselves, they need to be going to the boss or the HR saying, "Hey, I did this." Whatever
yeah,
this may be. You build your own file, right? They don't even know what
yep.
you're doing unless you go tell them.
Yep, exactly. You just got to put in the work and do all of that and develop yourself. Because, like you said, you can't wait on somebody to develop you. You have to do that on your own.
Yeah, no one may ever show up that wants to develop you, and if that
Right.
don't happen,
Show up for yourself.
that's
Yeah.
right. There you go. That's what we got to do. We got to show up for ourselves, and we
Right.
got to know we're gonna always be under construction, right? Never,
Yes, sir.
never
Never.
gonna be a finished product.
Yep. Always learning, but never arriving. Yep.
I like it, man. And you've read a lot of my books too since then, though, because I know you tell me,
Yep.
or I see you posting pictures on LinkedIn, or
Yep.
you
So
just a sponge,
yeah,
man.
I got two of them right here. So I got the 10 values of high impact leaders. I finished that one. I'm actually about to reread it again.
Wow.
So I'm reading that one. Then this the one where you and Rhea change happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of blurred out in there because it's a white book, but
Oh yeah, there it is.
yeah, there
Change
it is.
happens.
But
Yep.
yeah, change happens. I read that one once, and I'll probably need to go back and read that one again. And then the audio book that I started reading was, I believe it's the 10 foundational
Elements.
elements of change or
Intentional transformation. Yeah.
intentional transformation. Yes, and I've listened to that one twice,
Really.
and that one really, I love that one because it tells about your story and how you became where you are now and how you went through the growing pains of leadership and
In
life
jail.
and all those things. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Did that
you know,
surprise you
people,
when I started talking about going to jail in there?
yeah, you know, that one. And then, like, obviously, with, you know, alcohol and, you know, all that stuff. And I know, obviously, in my story, I have some of that as well. So, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
I understand that. That's why I kind of can connect with it, you know.
Okay. You want to share anything about your personal story or where you
Yeah.
come from? Where you at now? Anybody listening? Where you live? And tell us about
Um,
Jamel.
all right. Well, right now I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. Um, I was actually born in Illinois, Chicago,
Okay.
back in
Big
the
city.
80s. So yeah, I'm you know, back in the 80s. And we moved around to several places. We lived in the South in Mississippi for a little while, Missouri, and then we moved to Indiana in '93. And I was about 8 years old. And
Okay.
so didn't really have a good father figure in my life. I had my stepfather, he was in Chicago, but I didn't really like live with him and see him very often. But yeah, I didn't have that. My mother, she was very sick and you know, ill. She had like diabetes and
Mm.
kidney failure and stuff. So she passed away when I was like 13 years old. So that was like 98.
Man, that was
So
tough, I bet.
yeah, it definitely was. And so I was had some disadvantages earlier on in life. And then my sister, who was only about 13 years older than me, she raised me from 13 to 17.
Okay.
And but yeah, that was in a small town called Marion, Indiana.
Okay.
Um and so I lived there. And I, you know, early on in life, I think like how you said in the book, you know, talking about your life, where you said you picked up drinking at a
Yeah.
young
Early.
age.
Yeah.
And I kind of did too, you know, with
15.
friends and yeah, with friends in high school and everything. But then I started getting into like my journey of faith, and that around that same time, because we would go to youth group at church. And but I wasn't going to be there to actually learn about the word. I was going because there was some girls that was there, and you know,
Those
all
girls, man.
yeah, they'll get you to church, but you ain't gonna be learning nothing. But yeah, so that's the reason why. And then we had a group of friends, and but we would like go to like these little parties or little get-togethers and all that type of stuff. And you know, just life just kept going on. And like I said, I picked up that habit and would drink and do different kinds of things. But then when I was like 18, I like started trying to become serious about the Lord. So I kind of went to church camp and stopped doing the things with those types of friends and you know all of that. And then I went to Bible college when I was like 19. And it was the one Bible college. It was in New York.
Okay.
Um, I went there for a year, and then my beginning of my second year, I failed out. So I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, doing the good things of a leader, and you know having that consistency.
Yeah.
So I had to fail. I failed out, and then I came back home and was working at a car wash from somebody actually at the church that I was going to in back home. And then I had got got myself back together and worked about 9 months, and then I started to go to college, to a Bible college down here in Indianapolis, and
Okay.
that's how I got here.
You didn't give up.
No, I didn't. No, I mean I had a lot of grace, man. A lot, and you know, and even still today, like you know, you got to fight the flesh, man, because we get off focus and off kilter, things can just they'll take you to a different direction. So you got to fight that every day. But I would say that I it was 2005, so that's when I came to college here, and then I got here, and but then to speed up things, I eventually fell off again, and this is where I kind of did the blame game type stuff, victim mentality. Well, I had a girlfriend that broke up with me and things wasn't good and all that. So then I started picking back up drinking and partying and just, rebelling, you know what I'm saying? And it was nothing but victimhood and, you know what I'm saying, not taking responsibility for things.
Yep.
And then that was from 2009 to 2013. But through all of this time, from about 2006 to about 2013, I will have to give this family a shout out, because after I left my sisters, I was kind of living with people from my church.
Yeah.
And Chuck and Rebecca Binkard are two people that stepped in and kind of were like parents to me. So
they cared about you.
Yeah, they did. And from 2006 to 2013, through that kind of time frame, they were in my life.
Okay.
And
you wasn't testing them out, was you? See how much they cared. You didn't put them to the test a few times.
No, I mean, I kind of did in some ways, but when I look back on it, it's just it helped me to see like how much a person would, if they say they love you, they're gonna show it, and they did.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
they proud of you, I bet.
Yeah, they are. Even though now because after 2013, I had left them again, and but how, I guess, to tie this all in is how I got into the water treatment industry, is because Chuck, he worked in water treatment for wastewater, but it's still a form of treatment. He worked in that a lot of years, and he was the director at Marion Utilities, and he obviously he had given me opportunities to work, and that's how I kind of got into this. So
and that's what you're doing now.
That's what I'm doing now. So
and how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing water treatment for almost 4 years.
Okay.
But then, like, back in 2013, the last time I was kind of around them, I actually worked at wastewater for like almost about a year. Up in my hometown in Marion.
Okay.
So I've done them both, but I kind of can say I like the water, the clean side of things better.
Yeah, getting it ready to drink instead of getting it ready to put back in the river.
Yeah.
That's what you do, right? On the waste side, you're getting the water ready to go back into nature, getting ready to go back out.
Yeah, it's going out to nature, but what we're doing is that we're just pulling it from the ground, because we're a groundwater facility. And then we're treating it to push it into the system so people can drink it. I'm a drinking water operator. So yeah.
Okay, you're getting ready for us to keep us alive. You do some important stuff, man. The water.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times I've talked to a lot of water folks, man, and a lot of them, they don't think about that much a big deal what they do, but I mean, it's a big deal getting some clean drinking water. You ain't got that, you in a mess.
Yeah, for certain, man. It's just very, very they said it's a real thankless job, because like, when there's a main break, they don't care about the person that's at the plant for like so many hours to try to get this fixed, or the operator, the distribution operator that's out there fixing in the hole. They just want their water back on. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, when you don't hear about us and things are going well, everybody loves you. But when soon as that main break happens, or you know, that tower, that tank is messed up, man. Everybody, you know what I mean? Then the eyes are on you. So,
oh yeah, it's a big deal. It's a lot of pressure too. I would
yeah.
assume even when things are going smooth, it's still a lot of pressure to get
Oh,
everything
yeah.
right
Oh,
because
yes.
you got to be right. It's important. It means people's
Yes.
lives and health and all that sort of
Yep.
stuff. So
Yeah. Public servants of health. That's what we are, you know?
yeah. Do you feel that pressure, Jamel? Like
Yeah.
just every day in the job, just there's a pressure because you can't like let it go wrong. It's got to be right.
Yeah, there is a lot of pressure, you know, especially early on when I first started. Is like, you know, you get that in your mind, like, man, if I don't take this test, or you know what I'm saying, or if I'm afraid to go back there to make an adjustment or something, like it gets in your mind. It's like, man, this is real serious, and it is. And you know, it's gotten better because I do have you know, bosses that are you know, supervisors that have a lot of grace. Because you know, my one supervisor, Steve, you know, he was just like, you know, there's not anything you can do in here that's not fixable. And I think that gives you a lot of confidence to know that, hey, if something does get messed up, it can get fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It ain't gonna get out. You're gonna know about it.
right.
That's
So
outstanding, man. You got
so
quite the story.
yeah. So
And
yeah, it's just a lot in between that, but I guess to jump back to 2013, like that's
yep.
when things started going really south. Because like I said, I had a falling out um in Marion, and then I left the Binkards, and then I moved back here to Indy with my sister again, and just things just wasn't going well, and I was going through a lot of you know, a lot of mental health stuff, man, and just thinking like people are out to get you, man. Everybody's the enemy, and it's just all victimhood stuff. You know what I mean?
I do know.
And yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like you want to blame somebody to make yourself feel better. So and then in some parts, I think it was like 2015. I you know, experienced a little bit of homelessness, a little bit of that, you know,
Okay.
a little bit of jumping here, a little bit of jumping there, and it just, you know, through all that time, I'm just pointing fingers. I'm saying like, this is not working, this is not great. You know, what am I supposed to do? But even through all of that, I still kind of kept my eyes towards God, but I was kind of more blaming him than actually like allowing him to work. So, and so through those years after 2015, uh, after I stayed in the shelter for a little while, um, I got me an apartment and got myself back up and started doing things. But like I said, you know, a little bit of the drinking was still there and all of this, but you know, I kind of was getting back stable, and then I met my wife in 2018,
Okay.
and
She probably straightened you right up then. That's what wives
yeah,
do. They straighten you
that's
right up.
yeah, that's when some things started to kind of shift because I wasn't so much focused on myself and my own pity and my own
Yeah.
despair that, you know, she obviously had our daughters now, because I obviously I adopted, but she came with the kids, and like it's just kind of like, well,
Responsibility.
yeah,
You got a load. You got a
responsibility,
load of
right?
responsibility showed up at the door.
Right. So it's kind of like, man, like I really have to not be selfish. And, you know, if I'm going to make this work, if this is going to work between us, then I got to grow up and be a man. You know, I can't be, you know, a little kid anymore. So, like, even then, it was still, you know, those habits were still there, even though we were together. And then we had gotten married, and let's see, 2021. And it was just not even a few months after that, you know, when 2022 rolled around. And I remember having a drink in the kitchen, and I just broke down and I just threw it in the sink, and I'm like, man, I can't do this no more. And all it was just a Band-Aid for pain and stress and all this stuff that I grew up, and all of that. And I just was like, God, I need you, and I need to have a change. So it's kind of like how when you said when you had you got arrested and you did all of that, and then that eureka moment happens.
Yeah.
And then it's just like that's what started to change things. And then I started to say, not saying going to church is what gets you right. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of it, but it's just I started making changes, and then, bringing my family with me, and, started doing that. And then even going back to the shelter where I stayed and started to serve and, do things. And it just really started to make a lot of sense. And I was just like, God, this is what I got to do. So
that's good stuff. Do you still go back to that shelter?
Yes, we do. We do every so often. It's kind of tougher now because like I'm a couple of my daughters, they're working now, so we usually try to go as a family. I think I got a picture on my LinkedIn of one of the first times we did, and just it was a good picture, and I still have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we were there, and so we go back. We used to alternate between the men's and the women's shelter, but we haven't went to the women's one in a while. But
that's awesome. You've been soaking up so much knowledge, man. When you go back and talk to these folks, you're gonna be dropping some nuggets on them. Because you know your story, but now you know so many principles, just like I do. I didn't learn all my stuff until 2008 when I started reading. 17 years ago, but I was 39 years old, so I had 39 years worth of stories where I got it wrong. But when I started learning these principles, it was easy for me to take these principles and wrap them around those old stories and turn them into value, because I had gotten away from that like you have now. I'm proud of you too, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man. And that's why, like, when you allowed me to start listening to some of these, real people getting real results. And I think Renee was the first one. Like, me and his story kind of is like real similar in the fact of like, because I think he had the same thing going on where it was a lot of victimhood, and he was going through battles and all of that. And it just, that one really stuck with me, because I was like, man, I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. Like, I understand it,
Yeah. Did you ever speak with Renee by chance?
Yes, I did. I texted him like when you gave me his number, and we kind of talked back and forth, but I haven't talked to him in a long time. But I probably need to just say, hey, Renee, how's it going, man? I hope everything's going good with you, and just check in. But
you got to share this link with him. Say, hey, man, I made it to the same show. You inspired me to get on there and tell my story, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
He'll be glad to hear that. And he works in the water
industry
does. Down in San Antonio, Texas.
Yep, in Texas, yeah. Texas is as far as to get your license down there, it's a real hard to get it. But if you get a license in Texas, that's one of the top ones,
Okay. Yeah, he's in the inspector, some type of inspection in construction or something. I ain't exactly sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. You've been talking about victim. I just want to share a quote. I don't know. You probably heard it, or I probably heard me share it. But if you haven't, you're going to like it. And you definitely need to share it with those folks when you go talk to them. But I got it from Myron Golden. I know I shared about Myron with you, and I love watching Myron Golden. But he's got a quote. One of them quotes, I heard it one time, and I've been sharing it ever since. It just stuck in my brain. And basically he says, victimhood is made possible when we allow contributing factors to become determining factors. That's just so powerful, because there's all kind of things come at us, that contribute to our circumstances, but they don't determine our circumstances. We determine them. But some people, like you were saying, when I play the poor, pitiful me victim story, everybody's against me and nothing goes right in my life, and like I don't have any control over a lot of it. That's playing the victim role, right?
Yep, exactly.
That world you were living in when life was so hard, It's still out there, ain't it? That world's still out there
Yeah,
going wide open. You just ain't a part of that world anymore.
right. And that's where obviously through a faith perspective of it is as like it's battling between the flesh and the spirit, and it's like those things are still can be present, and we still obviously we're not perfect, but we just say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm not making these choices right here because they're not going to benefit me, and they're not going to give me life. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's just like where it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. So it's like what I'm speaking over my life, you know what I'm saying? And all of that, I want to speak the things that's going to help me progress instead of for me to regress back into those things. And even when those things come and there are sins and mistakes, I own up to them and I say, that's not right. That's not where I want to be. And I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to leverage it, and I'm going to keep on going the other way.
That's outstanding. And you owning up to a lot of it by getting on here,
Yeah.
sharing your story. That's being
Yep.
vulnerable, being transparent, right? And your story's
Yep.
got power. Your story's going to help somebody else.
Yep.
Maybe
Exactly.
somebody who's going through something you're going through now, or just you in general. When you meet some people in the future, you'll have this link, and you put this on your LinkedIn. Do
Yep.
you want people to, if people want to reach out to you like you reached out to Renee, are you open to somebody reaching out to you if they think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can help
Most
them, or they
definitely.
inspired?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's what it's all about, is just to try to add value to somebody and to do that. I mean, that's what the Lord will want us to do, is to try to help somebody and to love God and to love other people. So, I'm
That's awesome.
somebody out there needs to hear this, and and then when they do their story, somebody's gonna need to hear theirs as well. So
Yeah. So Real she's putting up your email. I'll read it off so anybody who's listening to the audio will have it. But it's Jamel Wofford at
yep,
gmail.com, and I'll spell that for you. Jamel, Jamel, Wofford, Wofford,
yep.
Jamel Wofford at gmail.com. And Real, pop up your LinkedIn address, and I'll give folks that. So if you want to reach out or connect with, follow, message Jamel on LinkedIn. I know he's active on there. I see him all the time. His link is linkedin.com/IN/JAMEL-WOFFORD, and they can connect with you there and reach out, or by your Gmail. So I've seen you recently. You went through some cool stuff. You growing. And actually, before I ask you about what I was about to say, are you going? Do you still have plans to get your degree that you were working on? Was it a seminary degree, or what type of degree was that?
Oh no, well, I already have a pastoral degree when I graduated from Crossroads Bible College in
Oh, you
Indianapolis.
did. Okay.
It was Crossroads, but now it's called College of Biblical Studies. They changed the name
Okay.
over the years. But in 2008, I did get a pastoral degree, and so
Congratulations.
thank you so much. I do have that, and it's one of those things to where like I'm just seeing where God has that, because obviously like being in ministry is a very very it's a very very grave responsibility, and like not everybody should be in that, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you got to get it has to be a God led type of thing.
Need to be
And
a
I
role model,
don't,
right? A good one.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know right now if that's where God wants me to be, but I just think that wherever I am, to do the best that I can, and obviously allow Him to work through me. If I'm at a water treatment, if I'm wherever I am, that's where your pulpit is at, and it's
Yep.
about living those character values out and doing all of that. So
Yep. That's what you got to do, right? You can do
right,
that anywhere. And I see
right,
you doing it everywhere. I see you all over the place doing that.
right, right. So
That's
that's what
outstanding.
it's about, man.
And you still growing. I saw recently you got your journeyman, a certificate. Tell me about that. I don't know exactly how to describe
Okay.
it, but I've been seeing you making stuff
Yeah,
happen still.
yeah. So in the town of Bargersville where I work,
In Indiana?
yeah, in Indiana, in Johnson County, Indiana. Um, like I said, I started working there in 2021, and then about a year and a half into my working, I had got into this program, through my bosses, through the Alliance of Indiana Rural Water. So they're a rural water organization in the state of Indiana, and they have them mostly through all 50 states. It's a couple states that maybe don't have a rural water association, or they're about to get one.
Yeah.
And so going through that, it's a 2-year program that is funded uh, funded through different ways, but it's accredited through the Department of Labor. So you are an apprentice for 2 years. You have to get 4,000 hours on-the-job training. You have to do 288 hours of technical training, so like the class work,
Yeah.
and going to conferences and doing all that type of thing. 288 hours of that, and then you have to pass your state exam to get your water license or wastewater license. And then once you get those 3 things done and you are in compliance, then you graduate from being an apprentice, and then you get that Department of Labor certificate that I got, and it shows that you completed the program, and you're pretty much no longer an apprentice anymore. You become a journeyman, and you went through that process.
Okay, that's pretty tough process. Sound like it wasn't just something you don't just go take a little test and walk out. You got to go through. You got to work your way through it.
Yeah, most definitely, because that first semester is like a no, I don't know what you want to call it, like a no fault type of thing. So it's like they could look at you, and if you're not up to snuff, they could just say, no, we're not going to do this.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? You have to do your homework. You know what I'm saying? When a teacher is giving you the homework every week, you have to do those things. You have to be in compliance and learn these things and everything. So it's not easy, but if you put in the work and you be consistent, you'll get there.
Yeah.
It will happen.
And it's a good stepping stone in your career. I mean, it's you got to have it if you want to really grow in your career, right?
Yes. So, because like most people, they can just study on their own and go take the licensing exam, and some people have done it that way.
Yeah.
But this program, it really gives you a base. You know what I'm saying? To get you to learn the ins and outs of treatment, and give you a startup to progress in your career. So yeah, most definitely.
That's outstanding. And you got a lot of networking in there too, probably the way you did it. You got to meet a lot of people.
Yes, because when you go to the conferences and everything, you start learning the vendors and different companies, and the thing is not that you seeking them out. They'll seek you out because they'll know that you're an operator. They're like, hey, we got this kind of pipe fitting right here that's maybe good for you and your company, or we have this type of chemical, the way to treat this, or clean out a well or something like that. It's just different types of vendors. And like once you start to get to know them, man, they really, they'll take you out to lunch, man, to talk business and all of that. But that's just a part of it.
Yep, that's good stuff. So how has in your professional work, how's like the 10 values of leaders? What did you got out of that book, 10 values, high impact leaders, that helped you, resonated with you, that kind of sticks with you, that you changed how you function at work professionally?
Yeah, the value of responsibility, most definitely. And I think that out of this book right here, this one, the value of responsibility is a very good one. It's just like how we have to take responsibility for our work, and we have to understand that that it's on us. And a lot of times, especially not at this job, but other jobs I had in the past, you know what I'm saying, like growing up or something, to where like it's my boss's fault that this didn't happen, or these people right here, this is the reason why I can't progress, or this is this and that. and it just doesn't help you. And I think that once you take responsibility for your own work and your own self and your development, you can go wherever you want to go. God will open up doors that you never knew that he would open up, because he's waiting on us. You know what I'm saying? It's already settled in heaven. Is just you got to do the work, down here, to open up whatever he's already blessed you with.
Yeah.
So
I've heard a quote from somebody somewhere. I don't remember where it came from, but it may be just something common that a lot of folks say. But I heard someone say, God can't do for you what he only can do through you. Meaning you got to do your part. What that means to me.
Yeah.
He'll help you, but you got to do your part. He expects you to show up and do a little bit too.
Yep, exactly. And I think that and especially, and also too, to talk about not just your books but the podcast, the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. Like when I'm in the lab or doing something or doing my water testing or whatever, I'll pop one of those on, man, and listen to them. And I think I forget the title of the one, but I think it's number 284.
Okay.
Oh man, it's pretty much you was talking to someone that had a problem at their job, and they
look
was
it up and see if I can see it while you're talking about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think she had a problem because you knew her dad, and you was giving her advice about, hey, this is what you need to do, being at work if you have any issues or any struggles, that if you continue on this path and you look at the job in a different way, it's going to help you tremendously in your work. And that one was one. I think it was like 284, 283, something like that. I forget the name of it, man. But that was one of the very first ones I listened to. And it was just like that one. And it was one in there that was talking about character. It can be hidden, or it can't be hidden, but it can be masked, but it can't be hidden. And it was talking about, like, how, if you how much influence you think you're gonna get if you sitting there bad mouthing people all the time and talking behind their back and all that. It's like, is it they're gonna get influence, or is it the one that says, hey man, I hear something like that, I'm walking away. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Or just different scenarios that you gave. But like when you said that, man, like I started thinking of stuff in the past and like different jobs or even stuff that I've done. I was just like, yeah, man, I get that, man. It just opens up your mind, man, and you start seeing that stuff, man.
Yeah, that was there's some good episodes in the 280s, but the one you were first talking about, it looked like it's 282, and his title of it is For Those Feeling Used and Abused at Work. I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yes, that was the one. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine. That was just me talking to her, right? I can't remember. I didn't have her. That wasn't a recorded call. She wasn't on there talking, right? It was me just telling the story about.
Yeah, it was just me. Yeah. You was just telling the story about when you talked to her, and then you gave the scenario.
Yeah. That was a cool call. That's my buddy Daniel Ross. He's got some. You may have heard some of his interviews. I had interviewed him on there before, Daniel, and he was if you hadn't heard him, you'd probably like to hear his interviews. I can't remember at the moment what number they were, but he only had like a 4th grade education. Still to this day, that's all the formal education he's got. But I'm telling you what, that joker's smart, man. He can do. Blue collar guy, he can do anything. Right now, he's got a remodeling business for bathrooms. Doing like really, really nice remodels of bathrooms in homes. But he can do anything. I mean, he can do anything, and he can do it like well. That joker's he knows stuff. And that's why I tell people, but the blue collar guys and gals, and college is one place to get an education, but it ain't the only place. Like Daniel, he didn't even get an education really through school or college. He got it on his own, but he's highly, highly educated. And that's what we got to know, right, Jamel? We got to get educated some way. Doesn't matter which way, but we got to get educated in some type of competency. Like that's what you've been doing with the water, with your job. You've been loading up on that knowledge, and then through the college with the pastoral degree.
Yep.
And now you're reading and dumping all types of content that you probably ain't gonna get in school or college. You got to self-educate, same way Rhea and I have.
Yep, that's exactly right, man. I would say like I've read probably more books, just personally on my own from my own desire, probably in the past maybe year or two.
Yeah,
more than than when I did when I had to do them in school or had to do something like that. And it's just like now, man, I just can't stop reading. Like I'll come home a little bit, read. If I got some downtime at work, I'm reading, or if I can't read it, I'm got it on the podcast or like listening to it or something, just to keep it going, man. Because it's like to learn it's up to us. It's up to us to put in that work and everything. So like right now, one of the newer books I'm reading is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah, I saw you sharing about that. Tell me about that. What you like it about that one?
Yeah, that one is pretty good. Is pretty good too. And I'm learning about how it's talking about how it's saying like you can do habit stacking and just you like do little tweaks of what you do on your daily routine or anything like that to kind of make better habits and stuff and everything. So it's a pretty good book so far.
Yeah, I got it on my list. I've never read it. I think Rhea has read it. The book changed my life was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's about habits too. It's a different kind of take on habits, but
yep.
Have you ever read that one by chance?
No, but I've seen you talk about it, and I know you've talked about it even in the intentional transformation
all the time.
And I've been having it in the back of my mind, but I think that's the one I need to get to next. I think I want to get it in a hard copy. I don't want to get it on an audio book just yet.
Yeah, you can listen to audio, but as you already know, which is why you're saying that, the books that you really learn probably the most reading the book. But I mean, I listen to audio too a lot. I mean, the way I got introduced to that book was on a 1 hour audio. The whole book's probably 13 hours, but I just had like the highlights and I didn't know there was anything else. I just listened to that thing over and over and over like 1,000 times before I realized there was something else in the world besides that. But that you're gonna really get some value out of it. I think I always warn people that book make your head hurt. It ain't a nice simple little book like I write. That's one reason I write books like I do. It's simple to read because a lot of people never gonna read the 7 Habits. It's too thick. It's 400 something pages. It's got some big words in it, and I just always say make your head hurt when you read that book. But if somebody would have given me the book first, I may have never read it. But because I had the audio and the highlight version, it got me interested in in the whole book. But you definitely should add that one to your list. And everything that we're doing, Jamel, every bit of it is the 7 Habits. Dr. Covey slayed the dragon when he put that book together. If somebody just read one book in their whole life and just learned to apply it, it could be that book and they'd never have to read another book. But they got to learn how to apply what's in that book.
Yeah, that's the hard part, man. And that's even like going back to faith, that's why it says in the Bible, it says don't be hearers, be doers. And it's just like every day, man, it's like, okay, it's good that I'm reading your books and I'm reading all these books, but it's like putting it into practice. That's what matters, because that's what's going to create that influence with people and my family and my friends and my coworkers and all that and everybody. Because when you put it into practice and they see that it's done, because obviously, nobody wants to listen to somebody. I can't take somebody where I have not been.
That's right.
It don't work that way, right? So,
So how has this impacted you? If you want to share any, how's it impacted you? All your reading that you've been doing the last year or year and a half, how's that impacted your personal life with your wife and your kids? You want to share anything about that? How has any positive impact?
Well, it has some, and I'm still growing in a lot of that because, you know what I'm saying? I've never, like I said, I married my wife and she already had the girls, so I didn't really know how to be a father. So I'm still learning. That's a learning process, is being a good father, being talking to my kids, praying over my kids, and being a better husband each and every day. But I will say that by doing this journey and by getting these books and learning, I did a couple weeks ago. I got two of my daughters and my wife Ria's book, Fearfully and Wonderfully Me. I thought that they would get some good value out of that book and see that and everything. So I got them that book, and I mean, hopefully they'll read it. I'll probably do a little check in here in the next few weeks to see if they read it. But I did get that for them, and so
that's awesome. Maybe they will dive into it, and if they dive into it and they like it. Another book that. How old are the girls?
18, 15, and 12.
Okay, so maybe they'll get through that book, and I had a guy. I don't know if you heard his interview, but he at the time was driving a trash truck for the city of St. Peters, Missouri, and Joshua Davis, and he read that book, and he said that's one of his favorite books that he's ever read, and it's written really for women, but Joshua's a big fan of ours, so he read all of my books and Ria's books, and he read that book too. He's like, man, I got a lot out of that book. So, you may want to go through a book study with him. Have you ever watched my book study training that Ria and I have?
No, I definitely need to do that, and that's the main thing, man. I would say that something to grow in, because it's easy to do the things that I need to do for myself, but that's what being a leader is about. And it's about saying, hey, this, I'm doing this as well, so we can do this together. And
it's powerful.
It's
really
powerful.
Is.
So
Ria's got it on the screen for anybody listening. It's bluecollarleadership.com/book study training. You can go there. You can see some testimonials from people who've led some book studies. You can watch a video of a guy talking about, actually another guy at the city of St. Peters. He worked in the recycling department. He's been doing book studies with his team for over 3 years. He does a couple chapters a week, and he's not the boss. He's just a frontline entry level guy. And so you can go there and see that, but there's a 45-minute video that's free. You can download and watch and learn how to actually facilitate a high impact book study and do it at home. And Ria's book, The Ladder of Influence, I'd highly recommend that one for your family.
Thank you for reminding me, Mac. Yes, another one I did, and I have that one as well on audiobook, and I've listened to that one, and I probably need to re-loop that one again too. The Ladder of Influence. Yes, I have that one too.
Yeah, that book, when I read it, Jamel, I was like, every person before they graduate high school ought to have to go through that book, or college, whichever one. Before they go out in the real world, they ought to have to go through that book to help them understand what their mission is in life, is to increase their influence. They don't even know that, most people, but that's really what's going to allow you to have a successful life is a lot of influence and with the right people. So you might want to dive into that. There's also a book for your family. Again, and you may want to dive into this before you do the 7 habits. There's a 7 habits for teens. And Ria actually likes it better than the 7 habits. The main book is the 7 habits highly effective people, which is personal growth and development in the professional world. But he's got 7 habits for teens, which is same habits, same principles, but it's in the context of teenagers. And he's also got, I ain't sure if it's a book or if it's just an audio, but his brother, I think, did 7 habits for highly effective marriages. And that's another good one. And you may want to go through one or both of them before you go through the actual 7 habits book.
Okay. Well, definitely. I had to put them in my queue and, like you said, get those and listen to them or either listen to them or read them. And like you said, give especially that teens one. Because I said, I got all, well, my one daughter, she's 18, so she's getting ready to, get into that adulthood phase. But the other 2 definitely, man, because influences at school and what your friends doing and all that stuff. I mean, you know how it can go, man. So
the ladder of influence would be really good for the 18-year-old.
Yes.
At a minimum, might want to do you and your wife and her, and maybe a 15-year-old. Maybe y'all could go through a book study on that book and do it. you know, you ain't teaching it to them. That's what's cool about the way we teach you to do this book study. You ain't reading the book and talking about the book, what it meant to you, literally like a discussion. It's where you, if you do it the way we teach in that video, it's all about personal transformation, being vulnerable and being looking in the mirror. Everything you talk about is about me or I. It ain't about they or them, or it ain't nobody else. It's to help you look in that mirror. But that's a book definitely. You might want to get that 18-year-old through pretty quick. So you mentioned Renee. I was just going to look that up real quick while we're talking, just so I could tell anybody who's listening. Let me find that real quick. I just want to tell them what episode he was. I can't remember at the moment. Well, I'll do it later. I think he's in the top. He's in the first 10. Renee Nerone. Anybody wants to listen to him, and he also did another interview. I think it was in the 30s. I can't remember. He did like a follow-up interview. So anybody wants to check out Renee, go listen to him. He got a pretty powerful story. He gets pretty raw in there, doesn't he, Jamel?
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. That's why I said when I listen to it, man, I can you know, it was like some mirroring of it. I was like, yeah, I understand that, man. Because like when you said, like because I think he was even talking about victimhood and stuff, and when he did, it was just like, yeah, but I understand that, man. You know, so.
Yep, he was talking about having a gun, fitting to take his life.
Yeah. He got really deep into it, man. Like, so I definitely understand that, man. And but yeah, like it's just something good to hear, man. And I think I have maybe even shared that with some other people. I don't quite remember who I did, but I just shared it and was like, yeah, maybe you should listen to this. And you know, and the other people, I've shared your podcast with them, and just something that if they're going through like something similar, I'd be like, hey man, you know, this is something good to listen to. And then another guy that I know through my apprenticeship coordinator, Kelly Gardner.
Okay.
Her husband works for he's a CEO of a water utility, and one of his guys, I think if you remember this, I posted something about going through one of your books. I think it was either The Change Happens, if I'm not mistaken, and he posted on LinkedIn. He was like, well, we're going through some stuff right now, you know, that possibly could help. And remember, do you remember that, Mac?
Vaguely, I remember.
Vaguely, yeah. And I think you kind of talked to him and said, like, we have these products here.
Oh yeah,
Blue Collar Leadership, and it would help.
Yep. Yeah. I don't remember if he reached out or not, but he could have. He could have ordered books or something, or listened to a podcast on his own.
Yeah. But I definitely told him about that, and I was just like, you know, so whenever I can, you know, to try to, you know, give people a good fit on this, because this is good stuff, man. Like, you know. So.
I appreciate it. That's what Renee said. He said it's good stuff without the fluff.
Yep, good stuff without the fluff. And it's just very straightforward and simple. Like you say, you're not, you know, doing something like high and mighty. It's just like, hey, this is just what it is, and it will help you. You know what I'm saying? You know, but like they say, I think like wisdom sometimes it's quiet and steady. You know, that's how wisdom is. It's not loud. But it's like if you would listen to it, it's gonna help you tremendously. You know.
That's good stuff. I appreciate it. I was able to look up and find out Renee's episode actually was number 2.
Yep, number 2. Yep.
He was number 2 and number let's see when his follow-up was. Number 2 and number 32 was his follow-up on the Real People Getting Real Results YouTube channel playlist. So anything that you wish you would have said or you wish I would have asked, Jamel, that you didn't get to talk about?
I would just probably, you know, I would just say that from what I shared, I just say I just want to. I guess if it's just a time to give thank yous to people.
Whatever you want to do, man. Okay, we're getting close to wrapping up. We ain't got to wrap up just yet, but we getting close.
Well, I definitely want to give a thanks to first of all, my family, um, my wife and kids for supporting me through everything that I'm going through. My extended family, my brothers and sisters, and or people like that. My family back in Marion, I do want to thank them because obviously I wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the town of Bargersville and everybody there. Um, the council, the supervisors, people, and everybody there for taking a chance on me, because when I started there, usually when you get these water treatment jobs, you think you need a license or something like that to get that job, and I didn't know anything. They took a chance on me, so
they bet on you.
Yeah, they bet on me, and obviously, by God's grace, I'm making them proud. So
outstanding.
And obviously, I want to give a thanks to people at the Alliance for the program, and Kelly Gardner. Like I said her name before, but she's the apprenticeship coordinator.
Yeah.
And her and Mr. Donald Papey, my teacher, who taught me. My instructor, I give them a lot of thanks, because you know what I'm saying, they didn't have to do this, and I could have messed up and did what I did back when I was in Bible college. I could have flunked out, but God's grace, I got through it, man. And
yeah, and you pretty much made straight A's. I remember you sharing some of your scores with me, right? You did really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't fall below a 90.
Yeah, man, that's good. You were focused.
Yeah, I was focused, and then one of the semesters, I got valedictorian. I got the highest grade in the class. So
man,
I was shocked when I was told. I was like, me, like, seriously? It was like, yeah, like you did.
You showed up and throwed down. That's what the country folks say.
Yep, yes, I sure did, man. So yeah, so I got to give them a lot of thanks, man, and it's just good to see where I've been and where God has brought me from. And like I said, it's never a perfect journey. I'm human. I make mistakes. I sin. I do things that I hate to do. But the main thing though is to look in that mirror and say, this is what not need to be done. Own it and turn away from it and go to the right direction.
Yep, that's outstanding, man. I'm really proud of you, and I appreciate you coming on the show to help us help other people. That's one reason we do this. We like to shine a light on you, like a lot of those people you named. Once this comes out and drops, you can share this link with them, and they can hear about your journey. A lot of people ain't gonna know your journey until they hear this story, because you don't get to sit around and tell it like this with everybody you meet.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I really never told like some of the details in my story until now. So I just think that like I'm saying, like somebody will hear it, and God will help them through whatever they're going through, or you know what I'm saying. So
yep, that's outstanding. So I really appreciate you being on here. And anything else?
I just want to say, if anybody's out there and they definitely need, like any type of leadership or personal development materials or anything, or just anything, just to look up Blue Collar Leadership. Mac and Rhea will be there to guide you through, and they'll give you, you can borrow belief from them, as they say, like, they will give you a lot of encouragement. And I think that's good, because you need somebody to push you along and help you. No success and failure always happens with other people. It doesn't happen by yourself. So you know what I'm saying? So, if you want to succeed, you got to have others to help you and push you along. And they've helped me. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful that I came across Mac in March of this year, and it's really been a help to me. So, and everything.
Well, thank you. You, like I always say, you're welcome and you're worth it, Jamel. And I'm on your team as long as you want me to be on there. All you ever got to do is call me. You know that. The rest of your life, long as long as I'm alive. I'm a little older than you, so I
Yeah.
might run out of time before you do.
Yep.
but you call me long as I'm here, man. I'm on your team.
Yep.
You ever need somebody to support you, a thinking partner, mentor, coach, whatever you want to call me. That's what I am for a lot of people, and that's what I want to do. That's part of my calling. It ain't a career. It ain't a job.
Yep.
It's God put me here to do this. It's got to be a God thing because I can't remember hardly nothing, but I can remember all this stuff, and it just comes out like it just downloads, and I know where it's coming from. It ain't coming from me because I ain't that good.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. I would just like to tell anybody listening to Rhea and I, mainly Rhea. She's redone our bluecollarleadership.com website. Still got a few things to go, but really we've redone everything on there, and it's just a lot more user friendly, and especially for someone out there who maybe wants to do self-guided. When you go to the bluecollarleadership.com homepage, you'll see some just general stuff, but you'll see a couple of buttons you can pick. Do you want us to speak or do you want us to train, or are you interested in speaking or interested in training? So if you go to the training tab, you'll get a choice between live training, virtual training, and then self-guided training. And a lot of folks out there, especially listening to the podcast or watching this video, you may be interested in the self-guided training. So go there, work your way down till you get to that button and check out all the stuff for the self-guided. That's for the individual who wants to grow and develop themselves, or for the leader who wants to grow and develop their team, but they don't want to go hire somebody to come in or whatever. They just want to be the leader. So we got a whole branch to help support people who want to do the self-guided stuff. So thanks so much, Jamel. I'm proud of you.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mac. I appreciate everything, and definitely would love to, like I said, to keep you in my contacts and everything, and just, continue on to keep growing, brother.
Yeah, man. Maybe we'll do you like Renee. Maybe a year or two down the road, you'll have a follow-up. You keep growing, you're going to have another chapter in this story you might want to share about by then.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Like I said, anything that would, add value to somebody else, man. I mean, that's what it's about, brother.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And for everybody out there listening, I appreciate it. And talk to you next time.
Yep.